All right, here we go. This is E. Christopher Clark. I love watching people's videos of what is going um, on their iPhones, on their desktops. What are they doing? I love seeing how many different ways people organize their stuff, and I love it especially because I love to see how they all get it wrong. Um, that's not true. I'm not that opinionated about it. Um, and so what? Oh goodness, we have a special guest. You got to look over there, right there where the green light is. I'm just showing everybody what my desktop looks like. So this is going to be a not exciting video for 8-year-olds. Probably not a very exciting video for anybody, but all right, you can stay there. Um, so
I was
what?
just coming over to see what you were doing.
Yeah, no,
I'm really just watching a movie on my bed.
okay. All right. I gotta read to her. She's got to go to bed soon. So this has got to be quick. We got to be quick, and that's one thing that you never get on these videos of people doing their desktops and whatnot is it's never quick. So this is my desktop. And the background comes from Unsplash, which is a fantastic website full of photographers sharing Creative Commons free licenses of their photographs. I don't remember the name of this person, but one of the things that I can tell you, right, is so here is my when I open Finder here. Um, on my computer, it goes straight to iCloud Drive because I am not one of the Dropbox converted. I don't use Google because fuck Google. Hope not to hear me say that. I just said a bad word. Don't repeat it. I use iCloud, and so if I want to tell you who did this, I can go into my images folder, which looks a little bit like a mess. And we can see that this image that I'm using for my desktop is by Olivier Farney. You can see this beautiful picture of a figure, I think, with a baby strapped to their front, standing out on a jetty, very orange. Um, and yeah, it's a nice picture. And one of the reasons that I use a picture that's not my own on my desktop is because I find that it's less distracting than having a picture of my family or a picture. I have had pictures of the Avengers and things like that on there, but generally speaking, I like to have sort of a neutral thing, possibly something with my favorite color, so that like I like looking at it for a moment of peace, but then it's not so interesting that I am distracted and don't want to get back to work. So anyway, I'm using a Mac. We're running, oh, I can't show you that because that'll show my serial number, but running the latest version of macOS, not the beta of the one coming out in the fall. I'm not that crazy, although I'm almost that crazy because I would really like to try out some of the new stuff. You'll see that my the top of my menu bar, the right hand side is a little bit full. I should get something like bartender going on here, but I don't. We got the screen recorder, we got the Adobe app um, updates, we got 1Password. My blocker of choice is Better. That blocks ads, Bluetooth, screen sharing, all the regular stuff. Um, and yeah, I don't use Notification Center at all. Um, I should find a way to get rid of that, and I don't ever invoke Siri from over here. Um, I do like to hide my dock, and I do like to keep it on the left hand side of the screen. That's for a number of reasons, but mostly I like to keep it hidden because I'm working with limited desktop space, regardless of whether I'm on my 21-inch Mac at home, 21-inch iMac at the office, or here on this 13-inch MacBook Pro. So I hide it and I keep it over the um, to the left because there's plenty uh, of width here, but not a lot of height in the Mac OS. In terms of what I keep in my dock, Finder is always up there. But then I use things for task management, mail, just use the stock apps for a lot of stuff. But then I use Ulysses for my, I hope nothing bad comes up here. I'm afraid it might, and this might ruin this whole video. Oh no, okay. I use I use Ulysses for all of my writing. You can see that I've got the next few books lined up. A little sneak peek there. I've got things for all of my courses. I got a diary that I don't keep very often. I got notes for my podcast, speeches and letters, all sorts of things. Everything I write lives in here. So, for instance, and it lives in plain text. That's how I prefer to roll. Um, so you can see, for instance, that this next book, The Seven Wives of Silas Silver, is broken into these 6 stories. Where's the seventh? You'll see. Um, and that within these, I don't know if I've got a great example here. I write in a formatting language called Markdown, which was invented by this guy, John Gruber, which works a lot like plain text. It's meant to be easily readable, but then if I want to go ahead and export this, I go ahead and hit the button up there, the share button, which is standard on all the Mackie type stuff, and I can get any number of different um, different styles without changing anything in my document. That's why I think words were meant to be written. They were meant to be written in a text editor, and word processors are overkill. I do have pages on here. And I use the Microsoft Suite at work. I got messages. Safari is my browser of choice. I got photos, um, which is where the magic gets sorted, but not where the magic happens. Um, yeah, way more. Now I realize why people can't shut up in these videos. I just want to tell you everything about the way I organize everything. Um, I think the one final thing that might be interesting here to look at is my applications folder. You can see a snippet of how I organize my iCloud drive, mostly by program. It's just a thing that I've picked up over the years because that's the way iCloud Drive tends to want you to sort things, and I tend to do things the way my OS wants me to do them because life is easier that way. Um, Application wise, I've got the Adobe Suite, which I got a very good deal on a license because I work for an educational institution. Um, and so I haven't really used After Effects, um, but I do use InDesign, Lightroom, Photoshop. I'm getting into After Effects and Premiere. Uh, Anything else worth noting here? GarageBand is where we do the podcast. I know there are better apps out there, but I don't want to learn Logic. Sorry. Um, and that's about it. I keep this one pretty clean. Vellum is the final app down here at the bottom. That is what I use to produce my books. And so, for instance, I'll write everything in Ulysses, and then when it's time to come and really get going here, um, everything goes into Vellum because Vellum allows me to create both Kindle versions, as you can see, iBooks versions for Nook, versions for Kobo, and the print version comes in here. And again, as with lots of other stuff, based on the way that I do things, um, the the formatting is very separate from the content. And that's the problem you get into with writing in word processors and things like that. I could do a whole other video on that, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna stop there and share my screen with you.